turn on your vacuum with the battery when you press the trigger. It's
I
like
want the one that will tell me so that when I'm home, I can go, did I shut off the compressor? Because like that's the one that like where I go, did I?
I'm sure there's probably, yeah.
Like, can't they just put like a little red light on the compressors? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Fine Homebuilding Podcast. We are at day 3 of the International Builders Show in Las Vegas, Nevada. You are probably shocked to hear me on this podcast. Justin Fink, I haven't been on in a while. I am here today with a special guest from Home Depot.
Thank you.
Debbie Hernandez. Give me your store number again, because I can't keep it. I'm 6210 in my days of Home Depot glory.
I'm in 0475.
That's right.
Yep.
We'll have to compare store number tattoos later.
Pretty far on the spectrum of the nation.
Yeah. You're in Phoenix, Arizona?
Well, the store's in Glendale. I live in Phoenix, yeah.
Okay. And we are going to be talking today with you about some of the great services that Home Depot offers. Is that right?
That is correct.
All right. So I know that there has been a very strong focus on pros lately with Home Depot. So, I mean, can you give us just the real outline of some of the services that are offered? I mean, some of our audience may still be treating Home Depot as kind of pop in on the weekend to get the nuts and bolts we need to finish the project, and so I'd like to fill them in on the bigger programs. I know you have some new and cool ones.
We do. You know, there's a whole pro desk available for the pros with special associates that tailor just for the pros, and there's a lot of innovative products tailored just for the pros as well, at great price points, good quality, and that's what they're looking for. They want to save time, they want to save money, they want to come in, get what they need, and get out, and we help them do that.
Beautiful. And and can you talk a little bit about the expanded assortment? Because I know that we have some new things, right? Or are these still secrets?
So, no, they're always innovating products that are going to be tailored towards the pros in terms of lighting and all types of products for interior and exterior application. And so they come in, they can either call, they can email, they can come in, they can do whatever they need to do with a list of products, and we'll get it together for them and make sure they have everything they need. We have a lot of new delivery options available.
Yes.
So everything is being tailored towards the pro to make their job easier and help them save time and money.
And how are you guys logistically doing that? Are you? I mean, it's like what, 2,000 stores you have now?
Yes. Home Depot has over 2,000 stores, and each store has their own pro program.
Okay.
And they can, the contractors, even if they're all over, like in Arizona, all over the valley, they have their one main store, and then their associate that they go to, that's their go-to person, and so they form a relationship with them.
Yep.
And once they have that relationship built, it's, very easily executed.
Okay. And so, I mean, in addition to, excuse me, my voice is a little tired. I had a bowl of gravel for breakfast this morning. So in addition to, I mean, we have obviously home delivery, job site delivery, in-store pickup, I'm guessing.
Yes.
And so basically it works out that I have my representative at the store that I go to, and that's kind of my guy or girl that I'm doing all my orders through.
There's an associate in the store, and then we also have what's called a PAR, which is a pro representative. So they're like manage accounts. Okay. So if there's a big apartment complex that a pro is working on or anything like that, they have one outside rep that can help them with that, and then they have the associate in the store as well.
Okay.
And then we also have different things like a Pro Rewards program, which is a point system, and it tracks all their receipts, so they don't have to hold on to all their receipts. So even, long time ago, something, they need to return or something, we have the whole record in the computer. So it makes everything so easy for them.
By job name, can I put things in?
By job name, yep. You can do anything you want. Number system, words, however.
Now, I've heard talk about this, this interline distribution center, but I don't know what that is. Or can you, I realize that you have distribution centers going to the stores. Are they Home Depot owned? Are they?
They're products that are big bulk products that are at a distribution center.
Yep.
And then so it's easily delivered to the pro or to the store for them, and so they don't have to special order it. But we do have a huge line of special order products that they can get as well.
Okay.
Sometimes the lead times might be a little longer for that, so they want to get the products that are readily available at the distribution center.
Okay. And can you give me a little more background on the point system?
So with Pro Rewards, they attach their Home Depot credit card or whatever credit card they're going to use. And there's gas points available. There's rewards, discounts, tiered paint pricing. So we try and make everything as affordable as possible with the highest quality products so that they can get the most for the least and keep going with their jobs.
Okay, so this comes back to the kind of the save time, save money.
Absolutely.
That's kind of the cornerstone for you guys,
It
right?
is, yep.
So
and be helpful and courteous and awesome.
Oh man. Is that the Home Depot mantra that I forgot?
That's my mantra.
It was like the Boy Scout oath for a second there.
Hey, this is Rob Watzek.
Rob's here too.
Fine Homebuilding brand manager. Of course, my boss didn't introduce me here. But anyway,
Rob over there.
Hey, Bob.
So hey, Debbie. So those distribution centers. So can you give a better idea of what is a typical product that would come out of like direct distribution rather than in the store? Because the one thing I think about at Home Depot is that is you have to walk into the store typically to pick stuff up and it's on shelves. But is that sort of to help to streamline that process?
So there's a line of products that are specifically formulated for the pros, and these are the products that they keep at the distribution center in terms of can lighting and maybe faucets or stuff that they use in bulk. Yep. That they want to keep the price point down and keep readily available because they know the pros are just going to continue to use them over and over again.
And there's definitely going to be some of those items that we're just not seeing on the shelves, I'm guessing, like LVLs and I-joists. And, I mean, you guys even do roof trusses and all that stuff,
we do.
Right?
Yeah.
Yep. It's super cool. So anyway, we're here at the show.
Yes.
And this is day 3 for Rob and I. Rob's been here for like a week, I don't know.
Yeah.
But
Rob's moving in.
But this is your 3rd day also, right?
It is,
So,
yeah.
Super busy show.
Yes.
What is jumping out at you?
So from my perspective, as a Home Depot associate and also as an interior designer, I was looking for what's new and exciting in kitchens and baths and flooring and tile and, what's really cool. Everything smart has been a huge thing right now. Different finishes in all kinds of things. The champagne golds are back and the flat black is kind of like the new color of the year in faucets and fixtures, but the smart stuff is really, I saw a double sink that was half dishwasher, which I thought was great for space saving and, handicap applications.
Yep.
So there's just all kinds of different wonderful things that, I'm just excited to talk about.
And are you guys getting a lot of demand for, so I mean, I guess, when we're at these shows, it's almost sometimes like being at a car show where they have concept cars, where like it's a little bit like you're so high on the range of ultra cool, but not really attainable, or not really going to spend the money for that. But the cool thing is that when you see those really high level things, the level just below those starts to trickle into more and more kitchens. So I mean, we've been seeing the smart appliances for years now.
Yeah.
But now it's like if you're seeing them everywhere. Like, nobody is selling a regular dishwasher anymore.
A lot of them are coming with Wi-Fi capability, and they're trying to, just like with the pros, make life easier and faster and more accessible for even the DIYer, any resident. And, from your phone, you can start your, dishwasher, or, just if you're in bed at night and you've, oh, wait, I forgot to turn that on, or, turn the oven on, or, your thermostat, your lighting, your draperies can go up and down. There's so many things you can do, and systems that can handle all of that stuff, so you don't have to just pick one. It's really amazing, and a lot of it's getting even easier. I always say I used to be an end and send person on my phone, and you have to get up on the times, and they're making it easier to learn how to do these things, so it's really exciting.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they're taking cues from a lot of good user experience appliance, a lot of something like the iPhone, where it's very intuitive, and they're starting to figure out, with picture displays and precision cooking I've seen on some ranges, it's like, plug in what you're trying to cook and we'll tell you how long we'll take over from there,
Exactly. We were in the GE Cafe booth, and they had, it was a combination range hood and screen, flat screen. And I walked up and I said, "Is that a microwave?" And they're like, "No, it's, you know, for recipes. It's got an underneath camera, so if you want to get on, you know, with your family and show them what you're doing, how you're cooking, or make your own, make your own show."
It's like your own cooking show.
Exactly. So I thought that was pretty innovative. And there was in Delta, they had some pendant light shower fixtures that are run on hydro generation. There's no electricity, but there's a light ring around the shower head. It's a triple shower head. It was really cool. And
how the heck does that work?
So the water pressure, like, there might be a little mouse in there spinning a wheel. I don't know.
There's definitely a mouse in there, yeah.
The water, the hydrogeneration powers the light. It was super cool. So I've seen some really fun, exciting stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Rob, you had a chance to walk around too. I know you've been looking for new and cool products.
Well, you know, I was going to say something on this theme. I stumbled across one of our old articles from, I don't know, 2005, and it's like, connectivity, are you ready?
Yeah.
And it's like, now we just take it for granted that everything's connected.
Yes.
And
exactly.
But still, there's just surprises every year. They just keep coming up with new ideas.
I really like that refrigerator that has the camera that sees inside, so that when you're at the store, you can go, "Do I have milk?" Or it doesn't tell me whether the milk is full, but like, that's a really cool thing that could save me from constantly buying salsa every time I go to the store.
So there's like really multiple cameras in the refrigerator.
Yeah.
Yep.
And also you can attach to a high-powered chef who will help you with your recipes and tell you the ingredients you need for a certain dish. And then you go on your phone and look in your fridge, wait, I had that sriracha sauce or whatever, and know what you have and what you don't. It's super cool.
I haven't seen any washers and dryers here. I mean, they must be here.
Samsung I saw some. I didn't really take a close look. I haven't been deep into the appliance section at all, but I saw this one little tiny little washer and dryer set. I don't know if it was designed for apartments, but it was like looked like a baby version of the ones that we typically have in our houses.
And I'm only asking because often those washer and dryer, that seems to be the place where people love new technology. Like, it changes every year. Like, oh, you got the old washer and dryer. Yeah.
Well, the newest thing that I've seen is two different things. One has the separate, the bowl in the top that you can rinse stuff. But now the drawer that used to be just for storage underneath is a second washer. And so it's small, but if you just want to wash one or two things or a couple little things, you can just use the little washer, and it's water saving, energy saving. Yeah. So that was pretty innovative as well.
I like the drawer dishwashers too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want one of those.
And the drawer microwaves.
Yes.
Because those couldn't go under counter.
The microwave is like the biggest design problem.
Well, I don't know if I was talking to you guys earlier about this. There's a microwave I noticed that is a range. The range hood microwaves are been around forever. But there was one that was a shallow height microwave, so that if you have a typical range hood and you would have to blow out the cabinet above in order to get one of those big microwaves in there, and then you lose access to all those shelves above there.
Right.
This thing, and think about it, how often do you cook something really tall in a microwave?
Right. Well, actually, it is a newer product, and we do carry it at Home Depot.
Oh, really?
And we're going to have one version in stock and the rest on special order. It's 9 inches.
Who makes it?
Which there's one, GE.
GE, okay.
Makes it.
I want one.
And I'm sure all of them are going to follow suit.
Who's making it first?
But however, the interior of it is almost the same capacity as a regular microwave because they've found a way to make the walls of the microwave thinner, just like with refrigerators that are expanding in cubic foot. They have thinner walls. The actual size of the refrigerators and the microwaves aren't getting bigger, but the technology of how they put them together is so your capacity is larger.
Yeah, they have better insulation materials so they can make the refrigerator work more efficiently.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
And that microwave you're talking about gives you the head space you need, doesn't feel claustrophobic.
Yeah.
And actually, you can fit, like you said, as much as you want in there.
9 times out of 10, yeah. Well, that's super cool. You got to tell us where, aside from going into a local Home Depot and asking at the Pro Desk for some, what can you guys do for me? Do we send people online? What's the best way for our audience to get started?
So if it's a pro, they can form a relationship with somebody in the store at the Pro Desk. and that's a great way to, you know, form a relationship and get to know somebody. And then after that, yes, they can call, they can email, they can even text. They can do whatever means of communication, fax, even if anybody's still faxing anymore. I don't know.
So.
Yeah, but you know, the funny thing about that is that when I got into the construction business, I was a carpenter years ago, and contractors were like the only people that I knew that still had fax machines and didn't have email addresses sometimes.
Exactly. We have like one vendor that still wants us to fax drawings for countertops or what have you, and it's just like, does anybody fax anymore?
Where are we going to get a fax machine?
I can scan it and email it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. I mean, I would encourage the audience to go and try it. And what downside is there to, you know, you have a job coming up, then just try it once.
That's it.
If you really don't like it, then fine.
Right.
But it could be the best thing you've ever done.
And what the pros do also, or the pro associates do, so they have their specialties to help our pro contractors. And then if they have kitchens and baths or interior finishes or anything that they're, you know, not as familiar with, they will partner with someone like myself who's an interior designer and help them to formulate their list of products and coordinate their finishes and do all that. So we like to work as a team at Home Depot and formulate those relationships, and so we try and help in every way we can.
How did you I got to ask you, Debbie, all that business aside, how did you become the go-to Home Depot, like, radio show, TV show person? How did they pluck you out from the store?
Long story short, I'm with Home Depot for about 23 years, and it was a one-time Fox called my store and said, do you have somebody that can do a one-time segment? And they came to the store and I did it. And about 3 weeks later, they said, you know that girl, we really liked her. Can she come to the studio this time? And ever since then, I've been on air live every week, multiple times for 23 years.
Really? Wow.
So, yeah.
So you stumbled into it.
So, well, I was recommended and then I held my own, I guess.
You're an accidental celebrity.
That's it.
So you were doing podcasts before we even knew what podcasts were.
Yeah.
I guess so.
It's really just a radio show, right? Well, thank you so much, Debbie, for coming on.
Well, it's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
And enjoy the rest of the show, and we will be right back. All right, and we are back. We now have a special guest with us, a Fine Homebuilding veteran. What would we call you? An alumni.
Alumni, yeah.
Chris Ermides. Say hello, Chris.
Hello. Hello, Chris.
Rob and I have, our voices are sore from a big Keep Craft Alive party we had last night. KeepCraftAlive.org. This is just what Chris sounds like all the time.
Yeah.
So we have graveled down to his level, which I'm pleased with. So Chris, you were able to come to our party last night.
Yeah. It was fun.
And
it's like getting the band back together.
It was tons of energy there. Yeah. It was really interesting because it's, you know, Rob Yeagan was there, who used to run the magazine, still running Keep Craft Alive. Our old editor, Kevin Ireton, who was the editor for 17 years and who was the editor when Chris and I both started. Chris was there. It was like a reunion.
It was fun. It was really just...
And it shows like how tight the world is. Like it's
unbelievable.
When we were having the conversation the other day, was it yesterday or the day before at the show, and it was me and you and Michael Springer, who was the editor of Tools of the Trade, right?
He was, yeah.
And Mark Clement, who is now the editor of Tools of the Trade.
Yep.
So there's 3 editors of Tools of the Trade in one place.
Yeah, that's right. And yeah, it's that was that. I'm sure that's the first time that's happened in a long time. But it was interesting because they all were we were all print editors before when Tools of the Trade was in print and back when it was in its heyday. I mean, Michael and Mark both ran Tools of the Trade when it was like they were giving away a massive like $60,000 truck every year, and
that was a juggernaut. That magazine,
it was incredible.
Definitely, tool reviews have changed a little bit, huh?
Oh my gosh!
What do you even think about like what is the future of that? Because I was telling you, off the air here, we don't do a lot of tool reviews in the magazine anymore.
I think that it's coupled with the explosion that's happened on social and particularly Instagram. There's so many people out there doing the reviews, and they're actually doing them in job sites. And I've found just a select few who are really keeping that editorial integrity that we always were taught to maintain. And we were all trained in that with through Kevin and those guys. And I remember being at the magazine and doing those reviews, and it was just super tight, and it was unbiased, like unqualifyingly unbiased.
And it's not like we're saying, hey, if you log on to Instagram and you find Joe Builder and he's reviewing a new drill that he's being paid to do it. He might not be, but what worries me is two things. One, he's not testing all of the other drills that are out there side by side, which is where you get a real apples to apples comparison. And the second thing is that even if he's not being paid, somebody sent him that drill, and those guys don't necessarily have the same editorial kind of guidelines, right? And it's hard to not want to say something nice when somebody gives you a free tool.
Yeah.
Yeah, but one thing that's a challenge. I mean, everybody wants to know what the best tools for the money are, right? So years ago when we were trying to really organize the tool section on finehomebuilding.com, we're like, we want this to be a complete guide.
Oh, God,
and you know what?
juggernaut,
By the time you start organizing one page on drills, there's already 3 new models out there.
Absolutely.
And then you've got a website full of hundreds of completely out-of-date reviews that are useless to the person who stumbles upon them.
Right. I mean, we still try to keep up with telling people about new tools that come out, but it's the full category reviews that are just so hard now.
Well, to me, it just seems like they're a little bit pointless in that there's very rarely a total dog.
They're so good now.
Everything is so good, and there are a couple exceptions when certain manufacturers come up with something that they've never done before. And it's their first foray into it, and then it's like, okay, let's take a really hard look at this and and it ends up being, in my mind, constructive feedback for them as to how to make it better. But in terms of reviewing the latest models of impact drivers with the latest battery that now is a
8,000 volts.
Yeah, it just gets you're splitting hairs so much that and people are buying into to battery platforms now that it seems like a waste in a lot of ways of our resources to do those kinds of categorical reviews.
I mean, when everything is going cordless, you mean whether your brand of cordless saw is one that's rated most high, you're probably going to lean that way just because it's so much easier. And like you said, they're all so good now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a competitive market. I mean, you think about tools, appliances, any of those things. A generation ago, they would make a model and they would just pretty much stay the same for a really long time because there was no need, there was no pressure for them to change it. People were used to things, and they would just. Now it's like everybody wants the lightest, the most powerful, the new clutches on the 4-speed clutches on the impact drivers, and it's like, so they have to keep up. So like you said, I've never picked up a tool that didn't do the job well. It's just that some might be a little more comfortable, a little bit more ergonomic.
It becomes a really personalized thing. It's like I want a little smaller grip. I want this
how
kind
you're
of a
going to
trigger.
use it. Yeah, absolutely. And but the technology alone to me is just, from the 3 years that I spent in it compared to where I was in the field before that for a while, and it blows my mind what is available now. And like you can use a battery powered you have a battery now that's Bluetooth enabled that will sync to your phone. You can keep track of it. You can shut it off. You can in certain manufacturers you can turn on your vacuum with the battery when you press the trigger. It's
I want the one that will tell me, so that when I'm home I can go, did I shut off the compressor? Because that's the one that where I go, did I?
I'm sure there's probably,
Like, can't they just put like a little red light on the compressor so that when it's switched on, the light is on? So then it's like more obvious that I won't leave it plugged in.
Maybe we'll be seeing that next year.
Yeah, maybe. You planted the seed. Yeah.
Well, so I don't know if you noticed in appliances, a lot of these appliances with all these like Wi-Fi and programming, they have what's called Sabbath mode on them, where they
like Black Sabbath.
No. It's like stoves. People who are devout Jews are not supposed to do work on the Sabbath. And so they actually have ovens that they can program ahead of time to cook the meal for them on Saturday so that they're not physically pushing the buttons.
Wow. Yeah. We're using technology to skirt religion.
Wow.
So I'm just wondering if there's going to be some kind of power tools like that.
No, maybe.
Yeah, like if you're not allowed to start it on a job site before like 7 a.m., like, well, my tools started for me at 5. You can't.
Yeah. But when I was at the magazine, it was like 2005, 2010. It was at some point during that time, the NiCad went away and lithium ion came out, and it was like the greatest thing. And
we did a huge story on it.
Yeah, and we didn't, I don't think we knew back then where the technology. We knew that there was a lot of potential in it, but we didn't know where it was going, and everyone was really skeptical about, whether they should buy into this technology. And now what they're doing with those batteries, they still haven't gotten all of the opportunities out of them. They're still getting more power, more runtime, and all that stuff. We got cordless table saws now.
I know,
like legitimate cordless table saws and miter saws. That DeWalt 12-inch sliding compound miter saw. I mean, 10 years ago, if we were in the office and we were like, when that thing first came out, whenever it was, 15, 16 years ago, we were like, this is going to be a cordless someday. We all would have been like, you're crazy. There's no way that's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean,
it's nuts.
It would have to have so many battery packs. Yeah. So, but I mean, are we at the point now, and you're more tied in with your experience of dealing with framers and testing tools on their job sites, are we at the point where cordless circular saws, like we're there, nobody's buying a corded one anymore?
I think so, absolutely. People ask me, about tools, friends who are in the industry, what they should do, and I'm like, just buy cordless.
Yeah.
Don't. And as far as circular saws, I mean, Tim Mueller, he did an article for us when I was at Tools of Trade, JLC, the cordless job site, and then he did another JLC Live last year. He did a presentation about how he's fully cordless on a job. He's building a house from scratch.
What about the compressor?
Okay, the
generator is cordless.
Not but so he's running nail guns off a compressor.
Well, they do have cordless nail guns.
They do, but you can't get the speed out of them.
Yeah.
Have
you seen anybody use any of those cordless compressors? I posted some question. I stumbled upon a couple in Home Depot a month or two ago, and they looked like nice little machines. I mean, I guess the big thing was that that's one tool that uses so much power that you're going to use it up faster than it. Like you can run a drill driver, a circular saw all day long on a job site with 1 or 2 batteries,
right.
but a compressor, I'm guessing.
The one compressor that we were able to put to the test in the field, a buddy of mine who's a remodeling contractor in Saratoga and custom home builder, he used the DeWalt pancake compressor, and he used that to install flooring, wide plank oak flooring, and he was blown away by the power and then the runtime of it. So he was able to get, I can't remember it's online somewhere, I don't remember the numbers, but it was like, wow, this is, you can do this, you can do it.
This isn't a big tool show, the International Builder Show, and we see some, but it's not the big one. But
no.
Are you guys seeing anything else really I mean, I have seen a couple of tools, and Max came out with a new metal connector nailer that's supposed to compete with Bosch's Strap Shot.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, let's check that out.
It's like a slightly beefier version. They looked at the Bosch and said, we think we can do X, Y, and Z a little better, and here's our version. And so I'm anxious to try that out. That's such an awesome little tool to have.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
I was with Mike Gerton over at the Camo booth, and they've got that new
awesome.
that drill that they've got. And
what is it?
So, they've got all the different clips for the decking with the grooves in the side, but one of the things they came out with is this new clip that has this delicate little plastic spring, like these little arms. So, how you have to hold the little clip sometimes into the groove, and sometimes if the board you're using is a certain thickness, it's like not resting on the joist. So you got to make sure you're holding it while it pops together. This thing has it's like a U-shaped spring
like
facing downstairs. It was like
downstairs.
Downstairs. Downstairs. Yeah.
Wait, where are we going?
Well, downstairs below the deck.
Yeah.
No, but it looks like the pinchers on a beetle or something like that.
Yes.
And so it points down and grabs the joist and just holds it in place. You can literally put a board in, throw a bunch of these clips in, slap the next board in, and it just lines right up. And then, but the tool that I was going to talk about is the driver that they have. I mean, they have this little attachment that looks like an upside down funnel, so that you don't even have to care. It's like when you're trying to drive something into a very particular spot from like 3 feet away.
Yeah, they're like number 1 screws too.
Yeah.
So it's
this
hard.
basically, it's kind of like a giant version of the locator that they use on like a drywall screw tip.
Yes.
You know?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
So it is that kind of a clutched gun, and it's got a long extension bond.
Oh,
So you
wow.
can walk down the line and just go zip, zip, zip. And I couldn't believe that, like that they were actually that the tool was actually centering onto those screws and driving them without causing problems.
Yeah.
So
That's
you can
cool.
do a whole board at one time standing up. Essentially.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
And the clips are doing nothing. Aside from the 2 minutes of installation, they have no function after that.
Their only function is during alignment and installation.
Interesting.
And then it was like, okay, this is really cool. So what can I use it on? The guy's like, this one clip, one variety of clip, every single deck board. So you don't
Really?
have to like match it up to wood and this brand of synthetic and one clip.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it costs $169.
For the driver.
For the
Yes.
driver.
So it's like,
is it an attachment to an existing?
you
Okay.
provide the drill, which is like fine.
Yeah.
You know, whatever. I'd rather do that than spend $400 for
Yeah,
whatever one you have
absolutely.
attached to it.
Right.
So that is very exciting.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's very cool. I'll have to check that out.
I don't know what I'm trying to think of what other cool stuff I've seen.
I haven't gotten a chance to really. My flight got delayed, and I'm actually staying. I was supposed to leave today, and I'm going to leave tomorrow. So I'm going to walk the show a little more. But yesterday, I spent a bunch of time with Tom and Richard and doing, checking out things with them. So I haven't had a chance to walk the floor yet without,
It's
a pre-planned thing.
It's huge. I mean,
So
we've got like
it's
5 of us here, and still we I mean, granted, we've been keeping busy with the podcast and meeting with a lot of other colleagues of ours, but it's hard to describe how huge this show is.
Yeah, people need to just start coming to this show. Everybody's listening to it from home. You
Yeah.
need to just come next year.
I heard.
Yeah.
What's the number? 90,000 attendees?
Is that right?
I don't trust any of the numbers they give.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, it feels like it could.
They
be
were
possible.
predicting 60,000, but it's
Oh,
like,
okay.
And then they're like, we're 40% higher, and you're like, I don't know about that. It has been busy though.
I the first day I couldn't even walk. Like
Yeah.
I could barely walk through the aisles. I had to get somewhere quickly. I had to get
forget
from
it.
the corner of the north hall to the corner of the south hall, like literally diagonal
Yeah,
across
I did that
all of
yesterday
it.
a couple
And it
times.
took me like 45 minutes.
Yes, yeah.
Well, and everything in Vegas, going to the hotels, the casinos, but including the convention center, it seems like every single building in Vegas is designed so that you don't know where you are.
Yes. Yeah. Get
I've
lost
been
in the
here
casino.
so many times, and I'm always like, wait.
Well,
I'm
like,
always looking for the things that are hanging down from the from the ceiling to tell you
yeah.
what row you are, but you can't find them very easily.
We're like, what, over 1 million square feet, this place, right?
Yeah.
So, like, some tips for people who are going to come next year, because you people need to come next year. Comfortable shoes.
Comfortable shoes.
Please don't try and break in that new cool pair of
No.
work boots.
Yeah. And Mike Gerton pointed out a good thing on one of his Instagram posts. He's like, lots of water and food.
Tons.
Yeah.
It's like you don't realize how dehydrated you get.
I'm just pounding water and never
Yeah,
going
I
to
haven't
the
been
bathroom.
drinking enough water, and I realized yesterday I ate breakfast at like 7, and then I got to the Keep Craft Alive event, and I hadn't eaten literally all day.
Yeah.
Well,
it was
especially-
like 8 o'clock before I ate again.
Especially when you're out, partying with the people you don't get to see every day,
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah.
keep that in check, because the trade show hangover is not fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've managed to avoid that,
Yeah.
thankfully. The first night I was here, I was in bed at 9:30.
Oh, yeah. It's so good.
It was good.
You used to make fun of me for that, for being,
I know, I remember that. I remember
for
it.
being the guy who would go back to his room early at the
Yeah.
trade show. I'm like, look, I get to sleep, and I'm going to be happy tomorrow.
It was. I followed that advice and that your example there.
I
both
accept your
nights.
formal apology.
You know what show I've been to a bunch? I don't know if you guys have been to it, but that's here is World of Concrete.
Yes, Patrick went to it this past year.
Yeah.
What is that?
It's like, Rob, you can't go. You would like it too much.
You would definitely like it so
I
much.
never come back.
Yeah, you would. It's
Where is it?
It's here.
It's here.
And
Sometimes it's like right after this show, right?
it's right
Sometimes
before.
or right before
right
it. or-
before it. Yeah, it was in early February, I think,
It's
or late
like
January.
giant concrete finish. I mean, there's definitely some smaller like residential stuff too, like finishing
much.
tools
Yeah.
and some new materials and rebar and that kind of stuff. But I mean, it's like also how to finish 1 million square feet with this one like ride-on.
And they have competitions.
Yeah,
they've every major tool manufacturer who makes concrete tools is here, and they usually have enormous sections of the parking lot blocked off, and you basically you have to walk around with hearing protection pretty much, because all you're hearing are you know,
jackhammers
and all that
Diesel
stuff,
motors
and cranking music so loud. There's tons of energy, but people literally come from around the world. I sat on a bus back to my hotel one day with a guy from Australia. He spent 24 hours to come to this show.
Wow.
And there's people, you know, tons of people like that.
I want to know, I mean, do they have a show for like construction equipment, like backhoes and?
That's it. I mean, that's it.
There?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We probably are. There's probably a backhoe where we're sitting right now. They're like, you walk in this hall. We're in the central hall, and it's backhoes and telehandlers and huge equipment in this facility.
That's the behind the scenes documentary I want to see, is like the setting up and breaking down of this hall.
Yeah.
Because like, you know, next week it'll be, I don't know what, but something else huge and incredible.
It's all mind-boggling.
I used to work trade shows quite a bit, and at the Javits Center in New York City, I'd have to go set up sometimes, and the logistics of that are insane. Mm-hmm. And it's like, you know, if you're an exhibitor, it's like it's a very orchestrated thing by people other than you that you don't have control over.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. You know, especially with most of these places are run by union workers, so it's like there's a very like specific process of like waiting for your pallets to arrive at your booth, and you can't pick up that box
Don't touch
over
that.
there. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, all right, let's get out there. Let's finish up the show. Rob, you got one more podcast later today. You're gonna do a nice show wrap up, but
awesome.
I guess for now, let's leave it. Chris, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for asking me to come on board.
Anytime, man. Anytime. And see you guys all this afternoon.